Yeah, sure.
Garrity, not Ian Garrity.
I get it so many times.
I'll see you later. I just want to let you know regarding that Travis Hobbs. The warrant with multiple complaints is at the station, and it doesn't go stale, so to speak. And the problem is, we can't find him. We can't serve the warrant because we don't know where he is. Oh, what the hell? Oh yeah, he's gone now. I'm not going to bring him in the bill. Thanks. He'll figure it out.
Well.
The fire engines do it all the time. Why can't he do it? No, what he's saying is we can't find him. If and when we find him, he'll be arrested. But he gave us an address back in August in Swansea. I had the Swansea cops check it. The house is vacant. It's not there. And then I ran his name in DMV, but he doesn't license, so he doesn't exist in DMV. So we don't know where he is. If you find otherwise, let me know.
Yeah, I don't have any information as to where he would be, but...
121.
Robin Keene for Mr. Goodrich, he's at my place.
I'm sorry, you were saying?
Yeah, I don't have any information as to where he would be.
Well, if and when you find him, you pass it to me, I'll act on it. But until I find out where he is, it's just kind of sitting dormant in the station. Alrighty?
Cool. Well, thanks for the update.
Sure.
I don't know if you heard about where I've been the past month.
You were making rounds. I mean, you weren't in one place. Weren't you making rounds?
Yeah, we're going to some major cities along the,
Yeah.
not the East Coast, so to speak, but Chicago, Gary, Indiana, Detroit, New Orleans. Gary is
That's a very
it's like a third world
economically
country.
depressed, impoverished area.
For sure.
And
Yeah.
it's been that way as long as I can remember. It's been that way.
You can get a house there for like $4 grand. It'll be abandoned and maybe have gunshot holes in it.
Yeah, it's a very, very impoverished, depressed city, high unemployment.
Yeah, but myself and Pete Air were doing a police accountability tour and going to different places and seeing the different, like, what the stories were on the ground. And New Orleans was the scariest. What happened after Katrina was pretty crazy.
Oh yeah, well, those cops down there, it's been well publicized in the media. Those cops are, and they do what they want.
Yeah. It makes you appreciate what you have in Keene a little more, but it's not as crazy. But Detroit was the most inspiring because there's a private security group there that's really changing their approach to safety and security. And they call it threat management. The place is called the Threat Management Center. And their service, I think it's about $60 a month for 24-hour availability. And they mostly work with homeowners associations. And they provide free services to victims of violent crimes, escorts to and from court. But, yeah, their priority, they say, is not their own safety, but everyone else's safety. And they say that they think that's what's most important about providing a real community safety project, as opposed to one that could lead to endangerment of people.
Detroit has always historically been one of the most violent cities in the nation. That's great. Another economically depressed, disadvantaged city, unless it's turning around now, I don't know.
There's
A lot of those
Midwestern,
a lot of those Midwestern cities, like got a few in Michigan, Gary, and just, unless they're turning around.
Yeah. I got a tour of Gary from a friend of mine who had moved there, and he's from the town next door.
Yeah.
And they just got something called an MRAP, which kind of puts the Bearcat to shame.
MRAP?
MRAP is like mine-resistant armored personnel vehicle, and they're literally straight from Iraq. The military uses them, and they're supposed to be, IED resistant, all sorts of, it looks much more defended than the Bearcat.
Whatever, I'm not impressed. Whatever, yeah.
But I was wondering why that one town would get it next to Gary, and then when I learned that they wanted to call the National Guard into Gary, I was like, oh, I see why they'd want the MRAP there.
Yeah.
That's what they choose.
My era, I remember Kent State, Ohio.
But the thing about the murders in Gary, the one person that we met up with on the ground, he showed us what he went on his social networks after victims had died, and a lot of the victims were people who had pictures on their Facebook with a big bag of weed and a whole bunch of money, and then with the mask on, and sometimes holding lots of guns, and it showed that it was a certain culture that they were killing each other, as opposed to it being a bunch of innocent people getting caught in the crossfire. Like the chief
I
was
got you.
talking. Yeah, the chief was talking about shootings are down. That's a good thing, even though the killings were up overall and murders were up.
Yeah.
So it was a place that you don't see too many people just walking around. People are just in their houses, and there's like very few grocery stores, and there's a whole bunch of abandoned stuff to photograph and videotape.
Fascinating. Different world, huh? Different.
For sure.
Okay, Garrett, I'll see you around. Like I said, if you get any information, just send it my way, and I'll see what I can do with it, okay?
All right, man.
Thank
Peace.
you.
So there's a lot of construction downtown today. People are protesting. Pretty cool staple of Keene. No sign of AKPF, but I have my reflective safety vest on underneath the fur coat just in case. Oh, false alarm.